This is the final project, and I choose on this final project to be about Amazon simple emailing service. The short for it is SES, SES. And the reason I picked this type of service as my final presentation, because I'm looking to use this service for the benefits of my future business. I looked at the different services and features of the service that it has, especially like using bulk emailing for marketing services. It was the best tool that from my search, that I found that I can send information about my products to my future customers or the people that they are interested so easily by using the service. And this is why I chose SES, Amazon SES, as my final project to do the work on it. This is the final project, which is Amazon SES, stands for Simple Email Service by Nimr Eid. Introduction to SES. Why do we use SES? The configuration, closing. What is Amazon SES? Amazon Simple Email Service, which is SES, stands for Simple Email Service, is a cost-effective, flexible, and scalable email service that enables developers to send mail from within any applications. You can, of course, configure Amazon SES quickly, very easily, to support several email use cases, including transactional, marketing, or mass email communications. Send emails securely at large scale. Amazon SES is flexible IP deployment and email authentications options help drive higher deliverability and protect sender reputation, while sending analytics measure the impact of each email. With Amazon SES, which is SES, you can send email securely, also globally, and at a large scale. Why should we use Amazon SES? Let's dive in to see that. The benefits of SES. Number one benefit is fast integration. Using either the Amazon SES console, APIs, or SMTP, you can configure email sending in minutes. Amazon SES also support email receiving, enabling you to interact with your customer at a scale, a full scale, regardless of use case or sending volume. You only pay for what you use with Amazon's SES. You will not be charged more than what you really use. The second benefit is options to optimize your deliverability. Use the reputation dashboard, which includes account performance insight and anti-spam feedback to maximize your deliverability. You have flexible deployment options that ranges from shared, dedicated, and customer-owned IPS that helps you influence your sending reputation. Amazon SES has relationships with experts like M3AAWG to improve delivery to your customers through industry best practices, which is really great benefit in using SES. The third benefit that we have is manage messages efficiently. Email sending statistics, including email deliveries, bounces, and feedback loop results, help you to measure the effectiveness of each email outreach. Additional insight like email open or click-through rates measure how engaged your customer are in your email communication. The fourth benefit is scale securely and easily. Amazon SES authentication options such as Sender Policy Framework, which stands for SPF, and Domain Key Identification Mail, which is the short for DKIM, confirms your right to send on behalf of your domain. Virtual Private Cloud, VPC, support makes email sending from any application secure, which is a comfort knowing that it is for sure it is secure. Amazon SES is globally available with HIPAA eligibility. So the HIPAA eligibility. In region compliance like C5, IRAP, IRAP, and global certifications, FED-RAM, ISO, GDPR. Use cases: transactional emails. Send immediate trigger-based communications from your application to customers, such as purchase confirmations or password resets. Second one, marketing emails. Promote your product and service, such as special offers and newsletters with customized content and email templates. Third, bulk email communications. Send bulk communications, including notifications and announcements, to large communities and track results using configurations sets. Features: sender configuration options. Amazon SES offers several methods of sending email, including the Amazon SES console, the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, which is SMTP interface, and the Amazon SES API. You can access the API using the AWS command line interface, which is AWS CLI, or by using an AWS Software Development Kit. The short form for it is SDK. The second one is the flexible deployment options. Shared IP addresses. By default, Amazon SES sends email from IP addresses that are shared with other Amazon SES customers. Shared addresses are great options for many customers who want to start sending immediately with established IPs. They are included in the base Amazon SES pricing, and their reputations are carefully monitored to ensure high deliverability. Third one, dedicated IP addresses. For customers want to manage their own IP reputation, You can lease dedicated IP addresses to use with your Amazon SES account. That will be your own. You can also use the dedicated IP pools feature to create pools of from these dedicated IPs, or use configuration sets to align specific use cases to specific IPs, which is a great feature. The next feature is owned IP addresses. Amazon also supports bring your own IP, which stands for BYOIP, bring your own IP. This feature lets you use a range of IP addresses that you already own to send emails with Amazon SES. This makes leveraging current investments and migrating from other email service providers very easy for you. More features. Sending statistics. Amazon SES provides a few methods for monitoring your email sending activities, helping you fine-tune your email sending strategies. Amazon SES can capture information about the entire email response funnel, including the number of sends, deliveries, opens, clicks, bounces, complaints, and rejections. This data is shared by default in the sending statistics report in the Amazon SES console, which is very easy to access. Use the global suppression list to remove bounced email from your sending list. You have the choice to do that, or configure your own account level suppression list. Sending data can be stored in Amazon S3 bucket or an Amazon Redshift database. Send to Amazon SNS for real-time notifications, or analyzed using Amazon Kinesis Analytics. Second, reputation dashboard. The Amazon SES console includes a reputation dashboard that you can use to track issues that could impact the delivery of your emails. This dashboard tracks the overall bounce and feedback loops for your account and can inform you when other deliverabilities impacting events that occurs, such as spam trap hits, references to blocked domains in your emails, and reports from reputable anti-spam organizations. Amazon SES automatically publishes the bounce and complaint metrics from this dashboard to Amazon CloudWatch. You can use CloudWatch to create alarms that notify you when your bounce or complaint rates reach certain threshold. With this information, you can take immediate action on issues that could impact your sender reputation. Pricing. AWS free usage tier. When you call Amazon SES from an application hosted in Amazon EC2 or via AWS, you can send 62,000 messages per month at no charge at all. This free usage tier benefit does not expire. You need to note the following table, which I'm going to be explaining, provides information about the charge associated with sending and receiving email through Amazon SES. The region in here, or the location, is US East, Ohio. If you are sending email from an application hosted in Amazon EC2, you will pay $0 for the first 62,000 emails you send each month, and $0.1, which is 10 cents, for each 1,000 emails you send after that. Plus, the following additional charges can occur: $0.12, which is 12 cents, for each gigabyte of attachments you send, and any additional changes for using EC2. Also, sending email from an email client or other software package, you will pay $0.1, which is 10 cents, for every 1,000 emails you send, and $0.12, which is 12 cents, for each gigabyte of attachment that you send. Receiving email, you will pay $0 for the first 1,000 emails you receive, and $0.1, which is 10 cents, for every 1,000 emails you receive after that. Additional cost, $0.09, which is 9 cents, for every 1,000 incoming email chunks. You can look at the pricing details of that for more information. More on the pricing. Email messages, you pay $0.1, which is 10 cents, for every 1,000 emails you send or you receive. Second thing, the outgoing data charges, you pay $0.12 per gigabyte of data in the messages you send. $0.12 meaning 12 cents. This data includes headers, messages, content, including texts and images and attachments. Also, the outgoing data charges are not eligible for the AWS free usage tier. And because of that, you pay on the outgoing data charges regardless of whether you send email from an application hosted in EC2 or from any application hosted elsewhere. Also, on the incoming mail chunks, an incoming mail chunk is 256 kilobytes of incoming data, including headers, message content, text or images, and attachments. When you use Amazon SES to receive email, you pay $0.09, which is 9 cents, for every 1,000 incoming mail chunk. There are big companies that uses SES at a large scale, like the company Reddit, Netflix, Duolingo. These are large companies that they use the SES. After looking over several different email solutions for my company, I see Amazon SES seems like the most cost-effective approach. It is also provides me with the reliability of Amazon backing my service, which I really like this very much. This is only my opinion. Next is the configuration, which is setting up SES. Continuing on setting up SES, first thing, you must have an account with AWS. Next, use the search bar to search for SES. Continuing on setting up SES, first you click on Verify Identities in the left column. You will not have any if identities configured your first time in this section. Of course, this is normal that when we go to click there, we shouldn't have any identity because it has not been set up yet. So the next thing we do is click on Create Identity. Continuing on setting up SES, setting up your identity. Choose domain for identity type, then enter your domain. Click the Advanced DKIM settings and select Easy DKIM and RSA_2048_bit. Continue to scroll down and click on Create Identity. Continuing on setting up SES, on the next page, scroll down and click Authentications. You will see 3 C names. This has to be updated to the domain you wish to send emails from. So we will copy these and go add them to our site. Each site will be different based on the host. However, it should be the DNS zones or advanced DNS setting that you should look for. Continuing on setting up the SES. Here is the zone editor for my current domain. It is under zone editor and you can see it clearly. Once in the zone editor, I can add the 3 C names in under the proper record type of C names. Go back to AWS and click on Verify Identities in the left column, as you see below. Amazon says it could take up to 72 hours to verify your CNAME update, but it seems to be more likely 20 to 40 minutes for it to verify the domain. So most likely it will not take the 72 hours. Using it, it was about 20 to 40 minutes. You should see that your domain is verified. And you can see that verification on the right-hand side on the status, that all of them being verified. Continuing on setting up SES, you will also need to complete a different process to verify emails as well. It is a much simpler process of simply adding email than accessing your email and clicking on the verification link. Next on setting up SES. Okay, now I am verified, but you will see my account is now in the sandbox mode. What is the sandbox mode? What is it? It is to help prevent fraud and abuse and to help protect your reputation as a sender. AWS applies certain restrictions to new Amazon SES accounts. All new accounts go in the Amazon SES sandbox. While your account is in the sandbox mode, you can use all the features of Amazon SES. However, when your account is in the sandbox, the following restrictions will be applied to your account. You can only send mail to verify email addresses and domains, or to the Amazon SES mailbox simulator. Another restriction, you can send a maximum of 200 messages per 24 hours period. The next restriction, you can send a maximum of 1 message per second. When your account is out of the sandbox, you can send email to any recipient, regardless of whether the recipients address or domain is verified. However, you still have to verify all identities that you use as from the source, sender, or return path addresses. More on setting up SES. To leave the sandbox mode, you must put a request into Amazon. You do this by filling out a simple form. This is the page for that. You select the type of mail you will be using in that form, input your email, and describe how you plan to use SES based on the research that I did. And what I have seen, if you are a legitimate business, Amazon does not deny you. Amazon has not denied many accounts from being removed from the sandbox. The request may take up to 72 hours for a response. Now we want to look at the utilization of SES. Now that SES is configured, you have to decide if you will use the built-in SES utilities or if you want to connect an email application to your SES service. Amazon SES lets you configure email templates through JSON files and allow you to create configuration sets, which is preset rules for individuals or groups you are emailing. Also, there is functionality here, but no interface. Everything is done with CLI through CMD. This can be complicated for sure. You are also limited in the campaign types and design. Using a third-party app gives me more creative and analytic capabilities. That's using a third-party app. Upon research, I found 3 good email applications, but I found one that stood out called MailWiz and did stand out big time. This email application requires you to have your own domain and a host. If that is something you have anyway, meaning you already have, this application comes with a lifetime license with no restrictions on the amount of emails or campaigns, which is really great. I will show you how to configure SES with a third-party application. The third-party application configuration. I will be configuring MailWiz to work with AWS SES services. There were several steps required before setting up the connection. I will list them briefly as the third-party apps will all vary in different ones. And this presentation is about Amazon SES. First step is to purchase and download the software and the license file. Second step, the installation of the software is down on your website. It has to be downloaded on the website. The installation zip file is moved to the website, then unzipped. Step number 4, once the above step is completed, you will need to run the install script or PHP file through your web browser by pointing to the file location. Step number 5, after the installation, you will go to the MailWiz dashboard and it will walk you through the configuration setup. You will need, step number 6, you will need to provide access to your Amazon SES service here. Step number 7, you will need to create SMTP user in your Amazon account to provide access. These are the 7 steps that they need to be followed in order to do that. Moving on to complete the application configuration for the Wizmail. This application that I choose requires me to input the following information obtained from AWS. This information that is required is the host name, the access key ID, the secret access key, the port, the protocol, and from email. These information are needed to continue configuring the app into this application. The next slide also for the third-party app configuration. If you go back to the Amazon SES dashboard and scroll down, you will see your SMTP settings. This will show you some of the information you need to connect your app. From this section, you can input the SMTP endpoint, which is your host. It also tells you the proper port number to use and if any security protocol type is required. After gathering all the required information, click Create SMTP credentials at the bottom. Once you go through this information and you fill out this information, then you can go to the next step. The next slide is also continuing the configuration for the app, the third-party app. To create SMTP access, simply enter a name for the user and your SMTP username and password will be generated. Copy and paste this information to your third mailing app. In my app, my access key ID is what my SMTP username is called. My secret key is the same as my SMTP password. I can do that in here. Continuing on third-party app configuration. After setting up a server, once again, you with my application, anyway, you are required to test the server connection simply by sending email somewhere. You can validate it. Once completed, you will be able to use your third email app to run campaigns through SES. If you receive the email you have configured correctly, now you can build and monitor campaigns in your app with the benefit of having many more analytic options and a dashboard or interface view. In this slide, it is the closing. I'm going to show the considerations. I'm going to show key takeaways. I'm going to show things I learned during the setup process and the final thoughts. That's what I'm going to do in the next slide. Considerations. On this slide, I'll discuss the consideration and the final thoughts. For the consideration, I originally bumped into a few problems during this setup. Here are some things to keep an eye out for. They are very important points. Point number one, when inputting the AWS CNAME records into the domain, do not copy your domain, just the key only. When you input the key in most hosting sites, it will add the domain automatically. So if you copy the key, if you input the key and the domain and you put them in, this will turn the private key to double it or duplicate it. and it will make your CNAME invalid. For example, if you have a private key 1234.site.com, it will turn it to 1234.site.com.site.com, and this for sure will make your CNAME invalid. This is very important to understand. The second thing that to understand, in the same spaces, there is big difference between the RAR file and the zip file type. I discovered none of my online sites would allow me to extract the RAR file types on the back end. It only allowed the zip files. Upon further research, this is a common practice. I found it is a common practice, so it was very good to know that. Okay. The third point is to make sure you as a host offers the ability to manually upload and extract files. I had to cancel my old host provider, okay, and move to another in order to complete this project. I was not able to edit it, my CNAME records with the other host. So this is very important to make sure that you have the ability to manually upload and extract files. Okay. And so it will allow you to edit these files. And because of that, I had to go to another host. After these three considerations, I will give you my final thoughts. There are currently many mass-scale email options available. First and foremost, I feel that Amazon will be the more reliable of the services. Other services have more all-in-one solution with a lot less configurations. They are much easier to set up for the average user, although not having as many tools accessible for campaigning. AWS SES still is an amazing service for the price. The price to send 1,000 emails from Amazon versus MailChimp is almost not comparable. We cannot even compare it because of the far difference in the cost. With for example, with AWS SES, the pricing of 1,000 emails is basically in cents versus 1,000 emails for dollars. There is a large gap between these two prices. So finally, in my opinion, and this is my own opinion, I believe strongly that finding a well-priced third-party app to work along with SES is currently the best way to set up your bulk emailing campaign system. And this is why I went on to show you how to do the third app configuration. Okay. So it will allow you to do the campaigning in the SES, in the Amazon SES service through the, like we said in here, I used the Wiz email app, so I can carry it through as the third party. So I advise you again to really value the services that you will use for your business, for your emailing, and see what you gain on it. For example, for marketing, for service, for cost. These are the three things at least you should consider, and you should bring them up as major points before you decide on going with another email services. And I did try fully to explain the third party, how you can configure it. And I used an example of MailWiz because I found it sticks out very good to use, especially if I want to do my campaigning on it. okay? Because it gives you a lifetime license, and it's free and has other features, okay? And I wish you the best. It was a very interesting course, very interesting project to do. I enjoyed it and looking forward to hear from you. And thank you very much for listening to me explaining this project. Thank you again. Finally, I really want to thank everyone, truly, again, for taking the time to listen to my project, to my video. And please feel free, when you review this project, feel free to add whatever comments that is needed. It's a learning process for us, and I would like to hear your opinion, and it will be appreciated greatly to understand your opinion very well and how it fits into my project. And I thank you again, and have a very successful rest of time to come. Thank you. Bye.